Hello everybody, it's Sebastian Furtado and welcome. Sorry I've been away for the last 2 weeks, but there's a lot going on in my professional life and exciting things, but it takes time and you understand. So for me to make a video about a perfume, I have to be inspired and in the right state of mind, otherwise I just can't. So as you can probably tell, I'm not at home. I'm on a trip. We came to visit some friends, and amongst the perfumes that I brought with me Nightclubbing by Celine. And I will be talking about this one today. So in 2019, Celine came out with the private collection, which is called Haute Parfumerie, so high perfumery, under the direction of Hedi Slimane. I believe that's how you say his name. For those of you, in case you don't know, Hedi Slimane was the person behind the private collection of Dior back in the days when it first came out, and the first perfumes were Eau Noire, Bas d'Argent, and Cologne Blanche, which have been actually re-released recently by Dior, but they weren't really discontinued, so that was interesting. But yes, fine, that's another topic. So in 2019, the perfumes that they came out with, the original 6 were, let me find them here. Nightclubbing, which is this one, Dans Paris, Parade, La Peau Nue, Eau Californie, Eau de Californie, Saint-Germain-des-Prés, Reptile, and Cologne Française. After that, they came out with Rambo. What was the other one? Bois Dormant. Also, they came out with Bois Dormant after. And let me spray this. None of the perfumes from this collection are bombastic, are very strong. None of them are. To my perception, the ones that are strongest, but still not nearly overpowering as many of the perfumes that we have today in the market, are Nightclubbing and oh my goodness, it's hard. Perhaps like a warmer kind of cologne. I would say Reptile, probably, and yeah, it gets Nightclubbing and Reptile probably. But I have 4 from this collection, I believe. I have this one, Dans Paris, Rambo, Saint-Germain-des-Prés. I have these 4, and it never overpowers me. It's always retained, it's always there, but it doesn't suffocate, because it doesn't have that superpower to suffocate. It's just, it never goes there. You can wear as much as you want, it will not suffocate. Initially, what do I get here? I get this smell of stale cigarette. A lot of people say tobacco, but I don't get tobacco. To me, it's specifically stale cigarette, as you would smell from an ashtray, an old ashtray that still has old cigarette butts in it. And it does sound, I understand why it can sound unappealing and unattractive, but this scent mixed with leftover perfume from the skin and sweat from the skin from the night before, and it can sound a bit off-putting, but it's to me it's not, and a lot of people that this is not off-putting to them either, because there's something very sexy about this smell. Very, very sexy. It's reminiscent. It's a smell that's very much reminiscent of good times and fun to me, because I know people could probably smell like horrible choices and and ending up in a police station somewhere, but that's not the case for me. And the execution of this idea, which I read somewhere in an interview with Hadjiz Lemaine, that the, um, the idea behind this perfume was a party at a Parisian condo, one of those beautiful old condos with very elegant people dressed to the T, the hair done, VIP party with invited people only, and not necessarily in a nightclub. I can see both sides. I can see this being in that this specific kind of setup, meaning a condo with VIP people only, but I can also see a nightclubbing setup environment, and this is definitely what it smells like to me. And at first, when I first smelled this, I had a really hard time with it because of the cigarette. It's a very realistic smell of like an old ashtray and the leftover smell of cigarette smoke on one's clothes the day after. But and the only time I had come across a smell like this was with Cigarette and Jasmine from État Libre d'Orange, I think it's called. État Libre d'Orange, yeah. And I really like that perfume too because it's jasmine and cigarettes indeed, but this is much better to me, to my taste. This is it's a lot better than that one, and so I had a really hard time because I never smoked. I don't really like the smell of cigarettes. I actually really don't like the smell of cigarette when it's being smoked, but in this specific case, in specific scenario, I really enjoy it, and especially because it's mixed with other scents. It's just very pleasurable, and I can see this place in my mind, and I can feel the vibe, and it's just very evoking of good memories, and one of the reasons why I love it. I'm not really a nightclubbing person. I like jazz, blues, that kind of environment, but yeah, this brings back many good memories. So coming back to the scent, stale cigarette mixed with a lot of galbanum, sweetness of vanilla, and after a while in the dry down it becomes a little bit powdery, but the cigarette's always here, the galbanum is always here, so it always has this kind of powerful base because of the cigarette, I would say accord, and the galbanum because it's very green, very predominant here, and the other notes play beautifully on top of these two, and it's just a stunning perfume. So I would like to say that every time I wear this perfume, I think of two movies, and funny enough, they're both by Tom Ford. How odd! I think of Amy Adams and Nocturnal Animals. Something about her her mannerisms and how she plays the character in that movie makes me think of this perfume, or this perfume makes me think of her, and also Colin Firth and Julianne Moore in A Single Man, also by Tom Ford. It's that, like, when that kind of party they go, especially when Julianne Moore is dressed impeccably beautiful, and they go for dinner, I believe, to either his or her house. I can't remember exactly the details of the movie, but you see that kind of elegance accompanied by cigarette and perfume and alcohol, and it's okay. So if you haven't watched those movies, I think they're really good movies, and yeah, especially in A Single Man, when Julianne Moore and Colin Firth are having dinner, I can see this perfume being in the air, being part of that scene. So yes, and I have a friend that one last fun fact about this perfume. I have a friend that he smokes, and first time I showed this perfume to him, his reaction was like, literally like, "Yo, what is this? I need this." And he's not into perfumes like we are at all. So he ended up buying all of this because to him, he can detect the smell of cigarette 100%, and it also brings him memories of the past of going out clubbing in Toronto. So it was a lot of fun, and it's a very special perfume. I've had it for about a year. I don't really wear it that often, but you can see that I've put a little dent there. So thank you very much for your attention, your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. And the world needs more beauty lovers. Bye.